FM 94, The Dark and Halfway Jam is just about here. In fact, coming up on Thursday, it kicks off. But Saturday night, the place will be rocking at 9:15 because on the main stage will be the band Buckcherry. On the phone right now, I'm talking with Josh Todd. First of all, Josh, great to talk to you again. We talked about 3 years ago when you went to another festival here in Minnesota. How have things been since then? How you doing, by the way?
Man, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. We've been great. We put out a new record last year called Rock and Roll in August, and we've just been touring on that, having a lot of fun, and now we're kind of coming up on our 10th anniversary of 15 again, 10 years since the 15 record, which is really, really crazy, So just doing a lot of shows, and we're kind of a finely tuned machine right now.
You talked about the record 15. I was going to ask you that question a little bit down the road, but let's talk about it right now. 10 years you've already had that album out, and I know you guys are getting really excited here because you have a tour coming up where I believe you're going to play the entire album. Am I correct on that?
Yes, you're correct. We're going to be going out with Candlebox, and we're going to be doing the 15 record in its entirety, and it's going to be just a great package, and we're excited to do it because it's kind of off the beaten path for us. We've been having to juggle a 7-record set list for a while, so it'll be nice to just kind of focus on that record and make it really special for everybody.
I've never been to a concert yet that a band has actually done that. They've taken a whole CD and played it. I know there have been other bands that have done that. I guess, what are you expecting out of that when you're playing song after song off just one album?
What is it like for me? I mean,
yeah.
I write all the lyrics and the melodies, so I'm pretty attached to the songs, which is great. So I get to go back to that place in my head where I came up with those words and kind of relive that moment in time. And I'm very passionate about what I do, so it's not hard for me to go there and to really have fun with it, And we mix up some of the songs. Sometimes we'll add stuff to them. We'll we do a really long version of Crazy Bitch, which is a lot of fun. And sometimes I'll just add a verse melody on the spot, and the band knows how to just pick it up when I'm jiving on something, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the cool thing is a lot of you guys have been together for a long time, and that doesn't happen very often, does it, Josh? You don't get guys in a band that stick together. A lot of times you'll have issues that come about, or they're going separate ways because of maybe family or something like that. But for Buckcherry, for the most part, you've gotten the core guys there that have stuck around. Why is that, Josh?
I think, we all have a common goal, and I think that's what happens with bands. They start forgetting about the common goal and why they were in it, in the first place. And a lot of the reasons why are some of it is sometimes drugs can get in the way for some bands, and sometimes, bands make a lot of money real quick, and they all get these big personal lives, and the band becomes not the top priority, and I think that's when you start making really bad records, and you start not really wanting to go on the road and do things, So we've always been really passionate about what we do. We love to work. We work really around the clock. I mean, when we're not on the road, we're at home writing songs. I mean, we're also, dealing with our personal lives, but we're continuing to always stay connected and write and record, and we like this job, so we really kind of take care of it.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, this Saturday you're going to be performing at Halfway Jam on the main stage at 9:15, and fans from Halfway Jam remember last year you guys were scheduled to come, but unfortunately you had some health issues on that. How did that all come about, and what happened on that, and are you doing better now?
It was just I had a lot of wear and tear on my voice just over I've been doing a lot of shows,
Right.
In my career, I've done probably over 3,000 shows, so it was just a lot of wear and tear. I was really worn out, and I went to the doctor. I had gotten home from tour one of the tours, and I just couldn't get through my vocal scales, and something was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong, so I went to the doctor, and my my vocal cords are really swollen, and I did some steroid therapy and all that kind of stuff. And she told me, listen, you can go do this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you know, that it could be bad. So, you know, I would suggest really taking some time off. And that's like the last thing I wanted to hear. But I also, you know, wanted to have something for later, you know. So I had to make a decision right then and there, and it sucked, but I had to do it.
Hey,
Thing is good.
and yeah, and all your fans, they understood that, and now they're even more excited because they're going to see you this Saturday. I guess, what are some of the fans going to expect this Saturday night at your Buckcherry show? And I guess one of the questions I love asking all bands is, what's your favorite song to play? Maybe you personally, not so much the crowd, but what do you really enjoy singing when you're up on stage? One of your songs.
Wow. You know, I really like a lot of the soulful songs that we have, you know, because I really love that, you know, to sing that type of stuff, like songs like Borderline and, you know, Rain's Falling and stuff like that, Off the Beaten Path. You know, those are always songs I like because we have our usual suspects that we sing every night, or that I sing every night, like, you know, Crazy Bitch and Lit Up and Sorry and all those, you know. So I like the songs that, you know, we change up every night, like Porno Star and Dirty Mind and stuff like that.
Absolutely. We're talking with Josh Todd from Buckcherry. Buckcherry going to be at Halfway Jam this Saturday, the main stage, 9:15. So basically, we want people out there rocking, don't we, Josh?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. You should come out to the show. It's like I said, it's a lot of fun, and we always have a great time. You know, we based our reputation on our live show, and everybody always gets their money's worth. So
I'll second that. I've been to a few of your shows before, and they put on one hell of a show. And you guys have a lot of fun doing it, don't you? You guys just, it seems like, you know, the cool thing about Buckcherry, and I don't know, it seems like a lot of rock bands over the years have kind of gotten stale and stiff. You guys are kind of like a flashback, maybe even to some of those like older bands. And I mean older bands like in the 80s and that, where you don't have to have a meaning behind the music. You're just there just to rock out and party. Am I right on that?
Yeah, man, we want to just host the party and give people their money's worth and have fun. You know, that's what the rock show was about when we were coming up. I mean, we would go to the rock show and have a blast and maybe, you know, find some girl that we like, or, you know what I mean? That's what the rock show is all about, like congregating and getting crazy and like having those unforgettable nights, you know, that you remember for the rest of your life, you know. And so we try to recreate that and always have that in the back of our minds before we walk on stage.
You've been around this industry for a while. I guess, what is your take on the rock industry today?
Wow, that would be a long answer, but
give me the short.
Long and the short of it, I'll tell you the long and the short of it. I think, you know, I think rock is in a place that it's in right now for a reason. I just think that, and I don't want to say this and diss on any bands that are in rock making new music and think their band is the best. I mean, because that's the mentality you need to have. But I really, personally, I just think that rock is really muddy and, you know, kind of forgettable, and it's not fun anymore, you know. And I think that needs to change, you know. It's like the great thing about rock, like back in the day, was you could put on an AC/DC record and it's timeless. You know, you can listen to Back in Black now and it's as great as it was 20 years ago. And it's because you can dance to it, you can, you know, you can screw to it, you can party to it. And that's what was fun about rock now. It's like sometimes I listen to rock radio and I'm like, God, all this is like so depressing, and there's no more guitar heroes, and there's not a lot of great charismatic frontmen where all they do is sing and perform, and they don't have a guitar strapped to them, and they, you know, they're using all their bag of, you know, their whole bag of tricks. So, you know, I think that's why everybody's moving towards electronic music and pop music. That's where they get that feeling. So rock is really hurting right now because of that.
You know, I was talking with Adam Curry from Candlebox a couple weeks ago. He said when he listens to rock on radio, it's gotten very aggressive, and it seems like it's the loud and hard stuff that everybody's playing right now. Do you kind of feel that way too?
I mean, I don't even think it's hard, you know. I mean, hard to me is like in the lyrics and the way that you like, you know, I don't know. I just think it's boring. I think it's forgettable. That's the problem I have with it. It's every band sounds like it's running into the other band, and
Right.
it's not like there's not these like timeless melodies anymore that that define your summer when you're a teenager. That's listen, we make records for young people. That's what you do. Because when you start getting older and you start getting into the workplace, music isn't defining who you are anymore. You start becoming an adult and you have adult responsibilities, and it's not what it was when it is when you're, in high school and everything matters and your body's changing and you're trying to get the girl and everything is going on with you, and that's when music means the most. So it's like, for me, when I listen to it, I always ask my 15-year-old, my 17-year-old self, is this something that I would be into, that I would even that I could attach myself to? And the answer is no. You
Wow.
know? And I really like I like a lot of the new pop music, and because I just love the beats, I love what it's about, I love
Right.
the melodies, and I love the lyrics.
Yeah, I actually remember when we did the interview 3 years ago. I think you did mention that a little bit. You kind of gravitated towards that a little bit, don't you?
Well, I've always listened to it. I just like great songs, but I rarely listen to new rock music. Hardly ever.
Right. That was my next question. If there is an artist, a new rock artist that you're kind of digging right now, do you have one in mind, or do you know of one that you really like?
I mean, you know what? They're not new rock, but I like Rival Sons. They have a few records out. I think they're really good. I think they're soulful, and I think that singer he's a really great singer, and he's very charismatic, and they got space in their music, which is cool. They have dynamics, and the stuff's got groove,
Right, exactly. Hey, we're talking with Josh Todd, Buckcherry, Halfway Jam. They're going to be rocking the stage there on Saturday at 9:15. I got to ask this question to you. I don't think I asked it 3 years ago. If I did, sorry, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you had to have somebody cover one of your songs, so a Buckcherry song, what artist would you like to cover a Buckcherry song?
Wow, Bruno Mars, for sure.
Bruno, okay. Which song would you like him to cover?
That's a hard one, because he's got so many. His vocal range is crazy, and he's just so incredibly talented. But I'm sure everybody would want him to do like Crazy Bitch or something like that. But I would like him to do like maybe Check Your Head or like Rain Falling, something like that.
Why do you think, and maybe it's just because I don't know, why do you think that no pop artists have ever decided to take a rock song and cover it?
I think they have. Lenny Kravitz was kind of a pop artist, and he did American Woman back in the day.
Right.
And, I think there has been. If I think really hard, I could probably find some, but I don't know. I think it's got to have a certain thing to be able to translate and to make, that's what we like. Like when we, for instance, on Say F It, the song we did on the FEP.
Yep.
We took that song, I Love It, and made it our own. And I think that's what's important, to try to find a song and not just cover it the way it is and have it sound exactly the same, but to kind of give it your own thing, your own twist so that it sounds like you wrote it,
Right. Hey, Josh, I know you got to let you go here because you got, of course, a lot of things going on yet today. But for the fans here in Minnesota, they're going to see at Halfway Jam this Saturday. What do you have to say to them before they get out to the concert venue on Saturday to see Buckcherry?
I just want to say that we love Minnesota. It was one of the first places that, we started going to on our first record, where there was two markets that sold the most Buckcherry records, and that was Minnesota and New York. And so it's very special to us, and it means a lot to us every time we come there. And also, not that particular place, but it's the home of Prince, and I love Prince. We all love Prince, so going back there is always awesome.
Any maybe a little tribute to Prince on Saturday, or is that a secret?
Maybe. There's another thing that's going on with us. Our bass player Kelly Lemieux is battling leukemia.
Oh.
He's talked about it on his Instagram. So we had to get a new bass player, Jeff Rouse, who's really great and super nice guy. But he only knows he had to learn a lot of songs very quickly.
Right.
Because he basically had like a week's notice to get out here and do these shows. So we'll see what we can, what kind of information we can throw at him. He's pretty overwhelmed right now, so we'll see.
Hey, one thing I want to take you away from Buckcherry for a second. I know you got a new project called Spray Gun War. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I'm really interested in that.
Yeah, again, Stevie's a really great friend of mine. Outside of being in Buckcherry, and Stevie D.
Yep.
He was a longtime friend of mine. I knew him a long time before. I knew him before I met Keith. That's how long I've known Stevie. So we have a great relationship, and we spend a lot of time together out here on the road on our days off and stuff. And we were just walking through a parking lot one day, and I was like, man, I always had in mind making music for Spray Gun War, and I was like, I need somebody that makes beats. I want some beats, and I don't know anybody who makes beats outside of Muggs from Cypress Hill. I did a few songs with him on his solo record a few years ago, but I can't get a hold of him. I don't know where he's at. And Stevie's like, I can make beats. And I go, okay, make me a beat. And so he made me a beat, and we wrote a couple songs together, and we figured out, wow, we got some chemistry. This can work. And we really like the same things musically, and so we started putting the Spray Gun War project together, and we worked really hard on it and came up with the Into the Blackness EP that's out right now. And the first single, OMG, we did was it's all our own money, all our own funding, and we just have had so much fun doing it. It's really been amazing. And right now we're working on a full-length record. We already got 3 songs written, and we're still continuing to write. We'll have that out in the new year. And there's one show that we have booked. We're doing Shiprocked in January.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool.
Very cool. Yeah, that is awesome. I was just going to say, is there going to be maybe a tour of possibly Spray Gun War coming up? But you mentioned Shiprocked, huh?
Yeah, we're going to be doing Shiprocked, and we'll be doing more shows along the way. It's just we have to get enough songs together so that we have a full set.
Absolutely. Hey, Josh, thanks so much for joining me today on the program, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday night at Halfway Jam, okay?
Hey, my pleasure, man. Great talking to you, and we'll see you soon.
Once again, that is Josh Todd from Buckcherry. They'll be rocking the main stage on Saturday, 9:15 at Halfway Jam. Make sure you are there.